Cinnabon is vile.
It's not.
I stand by
It's
it.
very nice.
But I do
Really
love
good.
cinnamon rolls. So we got all these cinnamon rolls to try. These are my favorite ones. Already had, what, how many did we have? Like 3 today?
Yes. You have some already.
These are all the ones that I wanted to try. So we had the original ones, but these are like different flavors. We got them at a little bakery, and these are my absolute favorite ones. American cinnamon rolls could never, okay?
Yes, they can. Cinnabon.
Vile.
These don't have any frosting on it, so that's the issue we're having.
Okay. This is just the plain one. Okay, we have multiple different ones. These are my favorite ones. I think about them every time. But let's see what else we have. Okay, chocolate, and then this one is... Got so much personality today.
This, let me take it out.
Okay.
Chocolate and vanilla.
Absolutely not.
Strawberry. Strawberry.
Try again.
Apricot.
Apricot. How'd you get apricot from that? This is white chocolate and raspberry, which I'm very
Obviously.
intrigued by. This one I'm a little apprehensive about. It's pumpkin something. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but it doesn't scream like my cup of tea, but they said it was a really good one. So what do you want to start with?
I will start with this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the worst. So pumpkin.
Okay. I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin.
It's too big of a bite. Cheers.
No. 1 out of 10. What do you rate it? 3?
Okay.
I don't think we got the raspberry.
I got it.
You did?
100%.
What do you rate this one, though? Did you rate it?
A 2.
I gave it a 3. Let's try the chocolate. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate or chocolate desserts. Oh, I'm a little nervous.
Are you shaking in your boots? This one has potential. I like it.
Quite chocolatey. I need a drink to cleanse my palate. I rate that.
I'll cleanse your palate, babe.
What do you rate it?
5. I'm not a big fan of these, I'll be honest with you. 5.
A 5 as well. And you know that this one's gonna slap. This is the star of the show. Okay? Sometimes I feel like if classics are done well, you don't need to deviate. This one's just beautiful, okay? We've already had 3 of these today.
Good.
Isn't that stunning?
A 7. A solid 7.3621.
I rate it a 9. This is so good.
It's good, it's just... And also needs to be warmed up.
We just landed after a 10-hour flight, and the first thing my husband requests is a hot dog. So instead of running to the store, I just decided to make it myself. I started by cutting up some pork and placing that in the freezer while I got started on my hot dog buns. I combined some yeast, sugar, and milk, let that bloom while I started on mixing all of my dry ingredients together. I added some melted butter before combining my wet and dry and adding an egg. I gave that a good mix, and once it came together, I covered it for 5 minutes before turning it out and kneading it. I then placed my dough into a bowl and let that rise for 45 minutes. And in the meantime, I got started on making some mustard. My husband doesn't have ketchup on his hot dog, so I just made some mustard for him. I took it off the stove, I set that aside to cool, and diced up some onion as a topping. He doesn't care for relish, so this makes it a lot easier. After 45 minutes, I punch down my dough and form it into little hot dog-shaped buns before brushing them with some egg wash and baking them for about 15 minutes. While those were cooling, I got started on my sausage. His favorite sausages are German ones, so I opted for that instead of the classic hot dog sausage. Once my meat was ground up, I got started on all my spices and poured those into my meat before letting that combine for about 3 to 4 minutes. In the meantime, I washed my casing and let it soak for about 30 minutes before stuffing that with my meat and twisting it into little links. I worked on this in batches. I poached them for about 3 to 4 minutes, fried them off, and then it was time to assemble. I put my bun and sausage down, topped it with my condiments, and he loved it. While my toddlers were playing in the backyard, they asked me for a Capri Sun. And since I had all the fruit at home to make some, I told them to give me a minute while I got started. Our favorite one is the multivitamin, so I decided to use some pineapple, pears, apple, oranges, and also some frozen cherries. I took the skin off my pineapple, chopped it up, before moving on to my pear and doing the exact same. I peeled my oranges, cut those into slices, and then moved on to doing the same with my Granny Smith apple. Once all of my fruit was chopped, I put it all in a bowl. I also added some cold grapes, then it was time to start juicing all of my fruit. I started with my pear and apple, moved on to my cherries, and then did all the pineapple after. Once everything was juiced, I passed it through a fine mesh strainer, and then added some water to thin it out. You can add as much or as little water as you want. I then filled it into their little pouches before grabbing 2 straws, opening those up, and our Capri Sun was done. We were so excited to have this and couldn't wait. And right as I was done cleaning up, they wanted a second one. My daughter doesn't like cake, but it is her birthday in the morning, so she requested a blueberry cake. And even though I'm not a good baker, I'm trying to make this work. So when everyone went to bed, I started baking. I started by making a blueberry compote and a blueberry puree, and then moved on to mixing all of my dry ingredients and wet ingredients for my cake. I combined some eggs with buttermilk, some vanilla, avocado oil, and some blueberry puree before whisking that all together. I then poured my wet into my dry and mixed it all until combined before adding some blueberry compote and melted butter, mixing until my batter was nice and shiny. While my oven was preheating, I spooned it onto a baking sheet and baked it for about 20 minutes. Once it was done baking, I popped it in the freezer for about an hour before starting on my buttercream. I whisked together some butter and cream cheese before slowly adding some powdered sugar and blueberry compote. After about an hour in the freezer, I cut out some round circles since I was making a 4-layer cake. I spread some buttercream on it, followed by blueberry compote. And then I added on my next layer and repeated that for all 4 layers. Once I reached the top, I spread my blueberry buttercream all over and tried to get it as neat as possible before taking some fresh blueberries and creating little clusters. Since she is turning 4, I opted for 4 blueberries and 4 layers. When my husband and I were in Germany, we had the worst pumpkin cinnamon roll we've had in our lives. When I got home, I decided to just make it myself. Since it's pumpkin season, there's no better time. De-seeded and roasted my pumpkin before scooping all the flesh into my food processor and letting that puree. Then moved on to making my cinnamon roll dough by combining some warm milk, yeast, pumpkin puree, egg, and some butter, giving that a good mix before adding all of my dry ingredients. Let that knead for about 8 to 10 minutes, and once it all came together, I let my dough rise for about an hour, hour and a half. In the meantime, I made my brown sugar and cinnamon mixture, and once my dough had doubled in size, I turned it out, rolled it out, and spread it with some butter. Once the butter was evenly spread, I sprinkled my dough with my cinnamon and sugar mixture, and made sure to rub that in before rolling it up. Then cut my dough into even pieces, and placed it into a buttered baking dish, making sure that they were close but not too close so they had enough space to expand. Let those rise for another hour, and once they looked like this, I popped them in the oven for about 20 minutes. I got started on my salted maple cream cheese frosting. I combined some cream cheese, maple syrup, butter, vanilla, powdered sugar, and a huge pinch of salt. Let that whisk until smooth before spreading it all over my cinnamon rolls. My husband likes a lot of frosting, so I made sure to do that before cutting him one while it was still warm. I've never been a huge fan of pumpkin, but these were divine, and Lucky loved them and gave them a 9 out of 10, which says a lot.
We did it.
Yep, we've done it.
So many people have been raving about these and saying that they're good, so I'm terrified. I actually don't know what they look like. I just got a flavor of each. Apparently they rotate flavors every week.
Okay.
This is what we're working with.
Okay.
I'm actually really scared. Why am I sweating right now?
I don't know.
I'm not too sure what any of these flavors are. I know we have... Actually remember, I think. This is something with peanut butter. This is the classic chocolate chip one. Then I think this is the chocolate chip oat one.
Oh, that sounds good.
Sundae brownie, I think. Pumpkin something. Ooh. Pumpkin is haunting us. Pumpkin something, and then this is the one I'm actually the least afraid of, which is Oreo. Okay, what do we start with?
The brownie, because it looks not good.
I mean, it could be worse, actually. What do you rate it?
It's literally a brownie to me, so I don't know. I rate it brownie.
So this is the pumpkin one.
Oh, I like that. That's nice. Reminds me of my childhood for some reason.
The frosting is so good. Holy crap. Oh,
It is real good.
what do you rate that one?
7.
That's pretty high for you.
Let's try this Oreo one.
Why are you making that face? This one's gonna be the best one. This is the Oreo one.
You don't like either?
That one wasn't good.
Okay. Now let's
one
try
is?
this one.
I don't want to try the peanut
You
butter
have to.
one.
You
I
have
don't
to.
like peanut butter at all.
Yeah.
What do you rate that one?
27. 27.
I give it a 2.
It's like a Nutter Butter.
I don't know what that is. Here for the frosting, honestly. 10. Just a classic chocolate chip. Cheers.
Very classic.
You make better cookies.
Yeah.
Rate that a 6.
6 too.
Right?
Yeah.
I think oatmeal chocolate chip.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying these anymore. I've given up.
6 too.
I give that a 6. I mean, the chocolate chip ones are pretty tied. Which one was your favorite overall?
The peanut butter.
Really?
All the way.
To me, weirdly enough, pumpkin one. Really good. Okay, what do you give this overall? Like, is this worth the hype?
I give this overall experience a 6 or a 7.
Like, would you pay $32 for this again?
No, because I wouldn't get 3 out of the 6 you got. The peanut butter one was very good. Very delicious.
So
very
you're gonna
nutritious.
finish that?
Very amazing. Very awesome. Very good. Lovely. Good job.
Wow. You're so animated.
Okay. Good job. I need to go sleep.
Bye.